only the registered have the power. If you're tired of load shedding, register to vote. If you're tired of corruption, register to vote. If you're tired of the rising cost of living, register to vote. And if you're tired of a government that's continuously working against you, register to vote. Go to check.da.org.za and let's give power to the registered.
About that, but we're also going to be tabling tangible solutions to what it is that young people are facing today. We're going to hear from the DA about how it is we're going to secure our future. So it's very important to like the link, to share it as widely as you can. Let's keep those timelines flowing to make sure that we use the hashtag power to the registered. That is hashtag power to the registered. Share it with everyone. And here with me, I'll have our federal interim DA youth leader, Nicholas Nyati, and our Stellenbosch MMC for planning, Councillor Carly van Beek. Carly, Nicholas, thank you so much for being here with us today. Tell us, how does it feel to be a young person today on this day? Carly, I'll start with you.
Grabe, first of all, it is lovely being here in the Eastern Cape, in East London. But if we think about Youth Day, it can be quite overwhelming. We think about load shedding, youth unemployment our youth is facing. But if I look around me and I see a sea full of young people in blue, it inspires me because they are ready to take action and take power and change the trajectory of South Africa.
Nicholas, from you, how do you feel?
It is a very exciting moment because not only are we reflecting in the history of our country, but we are gathering as young people to plan for a positive future under a DA government. It gives me great honor to see a crowd of diverse individuals, full of energy, full of vibrancy, saying we want to be the change in South Africa, and young people will be at the forefront of bringing that positive change.
100%, you can hear the vibes behind us are so amazing, and that's super exciting. Carly, you and I are going to be co-hosting today's program on stage. What can people viewing back at home expect from our program?
So we've got a jam-packed program. We've got our DA youth local leaders addressing us. We've got our provincial leadership here today. And we've got some lekker jams later with some artists here and making sure we're giving jiving. But also, we are so privileged to have our DA federal leader, John Steenhuisen, here today, alongside the man of the hour, Nicholas Nyati, our DA youth federal leader.
Super exciting. So today is Youth Day, and the conversation has to be about what it is that young people are struggling with today. So Nicholas, in your view, what plagues young people today?
Young people want jobs, young people want opportunities, young people need transport. We need to stop a country that has load shedding. We can no longer afford load shedding. Unemployment is sitting at 70%. That is bad for any country. We are a failed state, and that is because of the ANC government. As young people, we are saying we need change, we need opportunities. We want the whole of South Africa to be like Western Cape, where the DA has got the lowest unemployment compared to everyone else. We deserve this.
You are absolutely right. And what for me is very inspiring as a member of this party is that not only do we do a great job at analyzing what the problem is, but we also offer solutions, right? So Carly, tell people, when we say the DA gets things done, what does that mean?
I think it's very important to think of how we get things done in terms of youth. We're not just a party that say youth is important, but we actually don't give them a seat at the table. The DA gives young people an opportunity. I can speak for myself. I'm a first-time councillor serving as an MMC in Stellenbosch under the leadership of my Gees van Deventer, getting an opportunity. But then we also have you, only 25 years old, member of parliament, but we have our many mayors. Mayor Chris Papasvenum-Geni, young, energetic. Mayor Jordan Lewis, making a difference in Cape Town. We have our Young Leaders program, empowering young people. This is a party that allows young people to change our country and not only sit on the side.
100. Nick, I want to bring you here, right? So not only do we afford young people a seat on the table, but in our government, we deliver in favor of young people. So just briefly unpack to us, what does that mean? What does government, DA government do for young people?
Independent auditors are saying that when the DA governs, it actually gets things done. We spend the money where it is meant to be spent. If you check at the best governed province in South Africa, it is the Western Cape, DA governed. If you check in terms of the best governed municipality, it is a DA municipality, and that means something. When you have a government that works for you, more opportunities are available, more jobs are created, there is safety within the community, and that is what the DA does. It is more than just government, it is a matter of life and death, because we can no longer afford a government that is failing us. We deserve better, but we will never achieve this, Karabo. We can only achieve this if we come together as young people and register to vote. You can do this by going to check.da.org.za, because that is your power. Power to the registered. Let us take back our power.
That is it. Remember, that is check.da.org.za to make sure that you have your power and we're registered and we take ownership of our futures. So, Nicholas, you are going to be delivering a speech as the leader of young people in opposition, soon to be in government. What can people expect from your speech?
Today, we are not only reflecting on the past, but we are shaping a direction that we need to take as a country. This speech will be our slingshot to the moonshot. We will deliver John to the Union Building. We will turn the Union Buildings blue, because when the DA governs, we get things done, and we'll get things done for South Africa.
There you have it, South Africans. We are going to have a very exciting program, as you can hear what's happening behind us. The vibes are lit, are great. Remember to share that link, like it. Here's an opportunity. If you have that crush that you always wanted to slide into their DMs, use our link to slide in the DMs. Let's keep those timelines blue. It's hashtag power to the registered. That is hashtag power to the registered. Stay tuned, there's more.
In this election, only the registered have the power. If you're tired of load shedding, register to vote. If you're tired of corruption, register to vote. If you're tired of the rising cost of living, register to vote. And if you're tired of a government that's continuously working against you, register to vote. Go to check.da.org.za and let's give power to the registered.
You feel that beat? Valando. Ayo, Tuma. Let me hand over to the people I'm assigned to do this thing, Babylon MC. Guys, just one thing for me, okay? Can you please stand up? Just one thing. Quickly, I need to hand over to the MCs. Quickly, everybody to stand up. Even in Cape Town, they need to hear our voice, okay? In Joburg, they need to hear our voices. In Limpopo, they need to hear our voices. And the sound of my voice, when I say Viva DA Viva, let the East London territory, only the blue blood is in here. Okay, let's go. On my count, 3, 2, 1. Viva DA Viva! See! Almost speeding. I'm handing over. Viva DA Viva! Pata Johnny Pata! You bye! Where was I? No.
Africa ngwana Mosotho ena ka sebele. Directors for today, and was super excited and happy because ni bahle man actually. Hi, you got that, and the vibes are grand, and I feel it is super great. Back at you. So we have a jam-packed session today. Kuzo Mamadi, beyond. I mean, but I mean, but we'll have an opportunity to cool down, because we're going to have beautiful speeches, political speeches from our leadership. So the first address now to Dicala Njiti, Manghlala Phansi Bambu Mthetho. Okay, I'm gonna do it one last round, and then after that we're gonna be Mthetho, right? Ayihlala Phansi Bambu Mthetho. Ayihlala Phansi Bambu Mthetho. Hlala phansi, hlala phansi, hlala phansi. Again, Jabulela. Okay, so we are going to have, before we start officially with the program, we're waiting for our leadership to come in. So Saibiza Inkokeli to say we want to start Nyasibazis. Genani as a brief, we fra, on fra vaya moi, vaya vaya. So we say, hello, la leadership. I am going to welcome our Federal Day Interim Chairperson, Ndipiwe Olai, to open our session. So,
Viva the formidable spirit of young people, viva! Long live the spirit of Helen Suzman, long live! Long live the spirit of Luto Johnson, long live! What a day, colleagues, what a day it is to be here. It is great to be in the day in the province of legends. Legends such as the late great Tato Nelson Mandela, legends such as the late great Desmond Tutu, legends such as the late great Uluto Jet Sokutela, but also legends such as the living Nicholas Nyati, the living Siatanda Nuvo Vimbani, the living Yusuf Kasim. We in the province of legends. It is great to be here. Colleagues, this is the home of legends, and I'm really honored to be here. It's inspiring for me to stand in front of you to officially open this program. To be standing in front of this great sea of blue people, this great sea of blue young people. Like other organizations, when they have youth days, they have grandparents that fill up these seats and come here and talk here. We do not do that in the DA youth. We in the province of where premiers buy degrees, we do not do that in the DA. Today we make a stand against those premiers that buy degrees. Today we make a stand against the Russia's wars. Today we make a stand against this corrupt, hateful ANC national government that is trying to steal our dreams. They will not achieve stealing our dreams, Democrat. Today we stand up and say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Amanda! Away! Two! Viva Tia Youth, viva! Viva Transgender and viva! Hey, si Jimil, si Fit, and si the next year. Nakancha! to you, power to the registered, power to young people, power to the people that will stand up next year and fulfill the generational mission. Like the youth of 1976, us, the youth of 2024, have a generational mission to fulfill. Come next year, 2024, we will deliver a DA-led national government. With that being said, I would like to ask all of us to rise and stand on our feet as we commemorate the youth of 1976, as we honor their struggles and their sacrifices, but also to honor the struggle and the sacrifices of youth of 2024 and the generational mission that we're going to fulfill. A moment of silence for 10 seconds, please. Thank you very much, colleagues. Viva DA, viva!
Viva! That was your chairperson, Nippy Ola. We thank you, chairperson, for commemorating the youth of 1976 and their legacy. We honor them.
Thank you very much for that, Dipiwe. Indeed, we are led, we are in safe hands, and we can see our future very brightly. So, we are in... Wait, John. So, we are in BCM. And it would be illegal for us to be here in someone's place before we get them to welcome us. So I'm going to request that we all say Kwame Zandla for our BCM Constituency Day Chairperson. Everybody give it up for Kwame Zandla!
Viva DA, viva! Viva! Viva DA, viva! Viva! Wow, what a privilege it is to be standing here in front of each and every one of you. Welcome everybody. I'm your Buffalo City Constituency Youth Chairperson. Let me tell you something. Being with the timing period as a DA member, what I experienced is that the DA are there for the youth, with their skills programs developing the youth. Youth, I'm not here to challenge you on your decisions, but to guide you on the right path. We are the future of tomorrow, and we are representing it at every level. Together, we can conquer the world. Let us stand together and fight for our rights. Today is the day that we stand up for ourselves. For Viva DA, viva!
Viva! Thank you, Claudia. Thank you so much. That is your Buffalo City DA Youth Chairperson, locally represented. Well done, Claudia.
Observe protocol in the Eastern Cape and in the DA. So after Fiven has swept the stage for us. So after that has happened, we have our provincial Day Eastern Cape Chairperson, who's going to address us and give us a proper clear direction of what it is that young people in this province can expect from the DA. So sonke ndithi masiqhobeni izandla and welcome Noma Bimbo!
Elingakuyoyika nje. Amayiki. Awuchikwito ba. Bakuvakala bakusempondweni. Khawuchikwito. Lendawo sayihlaba lena. Embilen. Asikokele wenyathe. Lendawo esikuyo. Asikokele namhlanje ibambe Democrats bakuvakala basephondweni eliphondo eli lokugida ngabe mnandi abantu bave babone ukuba apha ephondweni singabantu abanothando gama lam siyamthanda lo Bobimbani udla ngamandla uZulu umcengo uTolo uBhanekazi namhlanje we're here to commemorate the youth of 1976. As Undipiwe had said, we're also commemorating a year since the passing of Luto Jet Sokudela. As I was writing something, I'm not a person who likes to write, but I had this thing where I said, for my daughter and my grandchildren that are yet to come, if tomorrow, God forbid, I pass or I pass in 30 years' time, what will I be remembered for? Yeah. And I thought, yes, in the midst of the festivities, we must be able to ask ourselves this critical question and take something home. As do baby, hey, how was the event with the cowman man? There's something that the young man said. So don't you but in Funa challenge as well. What will you be remembered for? Apha ephondweni ingaba sifuna usoloko siliphondo lika cutting edge okanye sifuna uba liphondo lophuhliso. Ingaba sifuna uba liphondo elinoqoqosho okanye sifuna uba laphondo lithanda toll gates. See, toll gate? When you go to the tax shop, 2 rand. When you go back, 2 rand. It's something we laugh about, but it's a very scary reality for many young people in this province. Ingaba sifuna uba liphondo elinembalela, intlupheko, urhwaphilizo, intswelangqesho nenkonzo eziphelele esithubeni. Okanye sifuna uba liphondo elinamathuba elinenkonzo eziya eluntwini kunye nephondo elingavusi ngemali zenkonzo zabantu. Balunela nto enzeka ba ICC yabale ndawo. Akuvuswa man weekend week out. Imali ekufana ba iya kwinkonzo eziya ebantwini. Le mibuzo ke ndinibuza yona ndifuna xa ufikile pha endlini uqamela ucinge nyhani uba what will I be remembered for and what will my contribution be towards this anchoring government, and what will I do in order to ensure that we change the situation of young people in this province. Kaloku xa kuhlaselwa umhlaba wokhokho bethu kufuneka omama ootata abafana neentombi ezixhobileyo lilonke xa elolizembe ngapha nekukhotha ucelemba ngapha kuba kaloku imbi le nto siya kuyo next year. Sixhobiseni bantu abatsha, because into eza kwenzeka next year if nihleli endlini nithi uright noba nibheke ekliniki ndingafumani into yocwangcisa kuba kaloku I'm okay with the status quo. I want us to think kodwa ke of the untapped potential yelphondo. From the Sunshine Coast to the Wild Coast, we have got wonderful tourism potential in the Eastern Cape. But John, who's going to go to Coffee Bay? One of the most beautiful places in this province, if there's holes in between everywhere that you go. So we need a government that's going to be able to invest in infrastructure in this province. From Etimbaza, Dantsane, Fort Jackson, Etuwa, Mtata, we have allowed industrial areas in this province to dilapidate. Ngamabhodlo, so that you go for umaschaye paglanda. And we're supposed to be continuing the creation of employment because those used to be the biggest employers in this province. Intsango dipache ezibhumba kweliphondo. Akumbe emamondweni. Aziqhunyiswa nje. Intsango elapha has got a lot of potential. Cannabis industry in this province can make clothing. I'm trying hemp. The cannabis industry in this province can make edibles. That's sweet. That's it's a different industry altogether, but it's an employer as well. The cannabis industry in this province has got potential for medicinal purposes. And they are going to close young people in particular, but also those who have been trading in that industry for many, many years. Oh, mama abadala, out of the industry of billions and billions of rands, an employer of the province that we can be able to tap into as well. So there's no reason for us to have some of the highest unemployment rates. We need thinkers, we need leaders with a vision. But I'll ask you one last time, what do you want to be remembered for? Home of legends, we fought many resistance wars, but when I as Samtana Luvovimbani, what do you want to be remembered for? For 2024, nifuna ke nivukelwe. Nifuna nivukelwe nkenke. Ate sithi, please come and vote for A. And because there is no one else who's going to defend this province outside of young people. After these elections that are coming, we must go on to quote U.S.K. Mkhaya. Sithi ku-ANC, ewe kaloku thina nto zaziyo asothukanga nto. Isixhosa ke eso. The time for us to save this beautiful province has arrived. Are you going to be on the other side, or are you going to be with us? Esther 4 verse 14 says, you were born for a time as this. You were born for a time as this. Roll up your sleeves, Bandabacha Belpond. Otherwise, we are going to have nothing to inherit if we allow these people to continue.
Thank you, Luvovimbani. I think it's lucky, Karabo.
100%. Yo, what's happening, Sulubo, guys? Guys, it is Bonen to think what is my future? Just think about it. Don't let yes, I go bomb, guys. And when it's very important that we focus our energy as young people towards our future to ensure that not choosing as kind of the fights for the future yet. But while we ponder on that, I need us to, while we sit and we marinate, he is going to play a song for us, for us to marinate as that was Gavi by. So let's all give him a warm round of applause for people.
Okay. Wababiza bonguloa. Sabor Wababiza Mungu Noah. What do you do? Umbutho apha imkhasileyo uThixo. Hayibo ingaba ningumbutho oyikhasileyo into kaThixo. Never. It's only God. Hallelujah. Viva! Okay.
Where to? Let everybody let's give a round of applause to Banana. Yeah!
Okay. Oh, Mama, sing it.
We're here for it 100%. Thank you, Banela. Ngakaqhubike phofu Banela uyabuya. So ndibonile uba ninxanyiwe. Ngathandiyanga icawa nina actually. Nabuya kangaka kusesethula. But we're going to have Banela back. We want to say thank you for that powerful performance, yes. Banela. Everybody a round of applause for Banela. Okay, so I think it was important because of the way you have to think about yourself. And Banela just did a great job to marinate Vimani's sentiments. Wow. So, but yeah, we're back to serious talks. Again, we are in a province that has capable leadership. Yes. Leadership that is present, yes. Leadership that is youthful, leadership that has a vision, and a leadership that that has shown that it can and continues to can for our future. So I'm going to call on to the space the Eastern Cape Provincial Chairperson, Yusuf
Samstan, Eastern Cape, Samstan! Samstan, the youth of the Eastern Cape, Samstan! Now you're going to have to forgive me, I'm not going to dance with you today. Because it's Friday and I'm going to go and pray in a little bit. And I tell you, if ever we needed prayer, it's in our country. Only in the Eastern Cape and only in South Africa will you go to Pick n Pay or ShopRite and you will have your groceries bagged by a qualified social worker. You will have your groceries bagged by a qualified civil engineer. You will have your groceries bagged by a qualified accountant. In South Africa. Nowhere else in the world, John, will you have young people who have been promised a future better than their parents, a promise that has been left unfulfilled. I've been going right across our beautiful province over the last couple of weeks. We've contested a number of by-elections, and I'm going to speak about it later on. But I've met young people as I go door to door speaking to our people. Just 2 weeks ago, I was in Clarkson, and I came across a young man by the name of Jonathan. Jonathan has not completed his schooling. And the schools have said to him that we don't have a place for you. And he's gone to the Department of Education in the province, and they never open. They never have electricity anyways. And nobody's there to assist him. We're currently assisting Jonathan. But what really broke my heart is that this is a young man that has potential in loads. Potential that will never be fulfilled if you have an uncaring government. I want to recognize some people that are present here today that are fighting every single day for our people. First of all, the councillors of Buffalo City. You'll see some of them towards the back of the hall. Thank you for being here and for your efforts in this event. We have 20% of the vote in Buffalo City, but I can tell you that the caucus here punches way above that weight. And every single day, they are fighting to ensure that our communities right across Buffalo City are catered to. And we have councillors here. Thank you for the work that you do and that you continue to do. We also have two members of parliament. Sis Tandeka, she's a member of parliament. You'll see her on the right of the hall. I can't see Chantal King. Is Chantal in the hall? But Chantal is present. And these are two members of parliament from the Eastern Cape that are fighting for the people of the Eastern Cape. But we also have former youth chairpersons of the province that come from this municipality. I was listening to Luvo speak earlier, and I must tell you, the Eastern Cape has potential. You saw it, your Buffalo City youth leader that was here earlier. You saw the potential that lies in our members. And Mawetu Kosani, Mawetu, you'll see him on the right of the hall, is a former youth chairperson in the Eastern Cape. And Kwanele Zonke, who's standing next to him, is also a former youth chairperson in the Eastern Cape. And one of the campaigns of the DA Youth, which is the Scrap NYDA campaign, was actually launched by Kwanele Zonke. You can give Kwanele a round of applause. And there's a reason why I'm talking about this. Because Luva said, what do we want to be remembered for? And surely we need to be remembered for getting something done for our youth. That's what the DA does. We get things done, right? And Kwanele started the Scrap NYDA campaign for a reason. Because we have all of these programs that promise a better future for our young people. NYDA, Isiqalo Youth Fund. Has anybody here been assisted by the Isiqalo Youth Fund? Promise you, if there's someone here that has, I'll give you my car. I drive a BM. But you must prove it. But we've got a war full of young people. Not one person has been assisted by the isiQalo Youth Fund. And when the DA said scrap NYDA, we did it for a reason, not because we don't believe in youth programs. It's because the promises that are made to our youth are empty promises. The NYDA spends the majority of their budget on cost of employment and admin fees. So basically what they do is they employ people, Nicholas, at high salaries. And only the crumbs filter down for our young people to benefit. So we must only sit there with our tongues out and try and suck up the crumbs. And that's what this government thinks of us. And Nick, I'm hoping we're going to get feedback on that campaign. Because the DA government would ensure that young people are given the opportunities to reach their potential. That's what a DA government would do. And DA youth leaders and chairpersons are fighting practically on the ground to make that happen. And change is possible. We had a by-election on Wednesday in Port St. John's. Now, for those of you that don't know where Port St. John's is, it's the furthest east of the province, deep rural areas. If you visit villages in Port St. John's, you can't visit them in my BMW because you're not going to make it into the roads. Deep rural areas of the Eastern Cape. These are ANC homelands for years and years and years. And on Wednesday, the people of Port St. John's voted for change. In fact, we quadrupled our vote in Port St. John's. And you know what is really interesting about that result is that all these other parties that are now aligning with the ANC, you know, you get all of these parties, they've got their own names. I'm not going to mention them, but you'll see them in red and in green and in all of these colors, you know. But you know what they are? They are just different leagues of the ANC. So for example, you get a party called Al Jamaa, people that look like me. But all they are is they are the ANC Muslim League. Then you get a party that calls themselves the Patriotic Alliance. But all they are is they are aligned with the alliance with the ANC. And then you get the EFF that say they're fighting for economic emancipation, but they as well are aligned with the ANC. And all of these parties that are aligned with the ANC, in Port St. John's, the people of Port St. John's says, we want total change. We don't want to vote for an ANC league, an ANC Muslim league, an ANC young persons league in the EFF, an ANC Grey Mensa league in the Patriotic Alliance. We want total change. And they voted for the DA. But our youth are not going to be able to vote unless they are registered. And in 2021, we had the lowest turnout of young people voting in any election since '94. The lowest. Because our young people have become disillusioned. Many of our young people don't believe that their conditions can change. And I don't blame them. If you've got a Premier, Oscar Mabuyane, who is able to be enrolled for both an honors degree and a master's degree at the same time, I'd be disillusioned too. Because this is our reality. Our reality is that if you are powerful and connected, anything is possible. But if you're an ordinary South African, nothing is possible. If you are connected and powerful, you can get a job in South Africa. And if you are not connected and powerful, you need to sleep with someone connected and powerful to get a job in South Africa. Guys, your futures, my future, lies in all of our hands. About 8 years ago, we had the Fees Must Fall movement that was closing down universities across South Africa. And during that period of time, which is now some time back, there were these so-called heroes that were emerging. I'll mention some of them. There was a lady by the name of Shira Kala. She was the SRC president at Wits University. And they marched. And they marched to all sorts of places. And one of the places they marched to eventually, after they were forced to do so because they didn't want to do so, was Lethuli House. And you know, that's so ironic. Shirakala was at the front of the march, had an office inside Lethuli House because she was employed by the ANC. And that's why they didn't want to march to Lethuli House, because they wanted to misguide our youth. Because the only people that can change our conditions are the people that are running our governments. The only people that are going to ensure that we have jobs in our areas, in our provinces, are the people that are investing in the infrastructure in our areas. Those are the people. So all of these people went around telling young people, go and close down universities. That's the way that we're going to get access into universities and get an education. Instead of telling our young people, go and change the government. Because the only way that we're going to get opportunities for young people to reach their potential is to change our government. Now, I don't want us to believe in any more Shirakalas that are going to misguide us and take us marching somewhere where they already have an office inside that building. Because many of those people have been bought out and they are selling out. And they are selling us all out. And they continue to sell us out. And the only way that we are going to change that is when we realize that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. Ladies and gentlemen and youth of Buffalo City and surrounding areas, we've gathered here today to commemorate Youth Day and the youth of 1976 who stood up for something. Now it's time for us to stand up for something. And I want us to go from here. I want us to go from here and do what the people of Port St. John's did, because change is actually scary. Change is scary. I want us to go out and persuade every single young person that has become disillusioned that the only way to bring change is to vote for change, and the only way to vote for change is to register for change. And go and help them to register. Take whatever money we have, let's go and buy data, and let's go and help young people to register. Forget about your girlfriends and boyfriends for now. Yeah, I'm not going to be popular with that one, Nick. Yeah. You know, I wasn't sure if I must say it, but I was not going to be popular with that one. But you know, our former provincial leader, Ngaba Banga, used to say, even those girlfriends and boyfriends that you have blocked, go and unblock them. Tell them register to vote, and then you can block them again. Because it's that important. It's that important that we go and take our futures in our own hands, because nobody's going to come and save us. We are the ones that we have been waiting for. We are the ones that's going to bring change to our country. And I salute you for coming out here today and being part of the change that we are going to bring in our country. Thank you very much.
And it is coming to the youth to change this. We thank our Eastern Cape leadership and we say, power back to the people.
The one thing I'm not sure I'm not sure about this one of not having my boyfriend and my girlfriends and all of those, but everything else, yes, 100%. So we want to say thank you again for all of you for continuing to be so disciplined and being so happy and engaged. For me as a young person, I'm happy to know that, you know, we're not rushing to go to the next potoi, but we're here, we're seated, we are interested in hearing about our future. That says we are responsible people and smashing up our mind, right, and I like that. So it's in a competition, okay, guys? Oh, now you're paying attention, okay. So we have a competition, Carly.
It's a very nice competition.
There's a station outside.
Did you participate?
Yeah, well, yes, yeah. So
you're going to?
We're going to participate, and that's why we're asking everybody here to do the same. So what's up for grabs is 1,000 rand, Itawa, guys. Yes. Itawa. Indawa, guys. So we keep saying kulu kulu, kulu kulu, kelisuka, nanti tau. So, but you need to qualify first for latau. So you need to ensure banu register in If I'll call sure, then please go visit the station. Karli, what are the details about the tower? What are people going to do with the 1,000 rand?
Ooh, we're going to the Hemingway Mall. You guys know the mall, it's a lekker mall. Yes. And you can spend 1,000 rand at the Hemingway Mall.
Yeah. So they're already discussing what it is they're
No,
going to
see,
buy.
they know the outfits we're already going to go buy.
Yes, a new outfit and earrings and all. So yes, guys, so that's the competition. We're not saying stand up now, all of you, and go, we'll have enough time to go. But just make sure that you're registered. It's very important because Silapa, ideally, the conversation ultimately is to ensure Sine participation in our future as young people. We want to ensure that Sine power to register and say no more ANC, no more. Not in our future, not in our names. So that's why we're running this competition. Is very important. And then the X that you blocked, maybe after you send them the link, you can use that 1,000 rand on them. So yeah, so we still have a program that's coming. We said to use the heavyweights today. We said we have heavyweight speakers and we have 2 of them left. Can you guess who the other 2 speakers are? Nobody on here?
I'm hearing some records,
Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, John.
I hear John.
And Nicholas. Okay.
Sounds correct.
So Democrats, I want to say we are going to have an official address by our youth leader, Nicholas Nyati. Everybody rise and say hello.
nezivunguvungu nezaqhwithi zavunguvunguza kodwa wahlala umile ndithi zembeli loliwe libukhali zembeli loliwe lamtsho umtyholi wanywabalala sithongandini sasukela ngatsho ke phulaphulani kuba kaloku yena ungulo waqala kwayokuqala iconference wabuya nembanda esikhova ayisuka yathi ngesihlandlo sesibini andisayikudlala ayisuka kangangokuba yafinga intshiyela nto yanyusa amaqho yavungama kwavokotheka ngqondo ingqindilili kukuqiqa bunzili bilaqhopha kukucinga ngatsho ke Nicholas nyathi othakamthemba uyazenzisa kodwa ke mzali kuJohn Kalowo ndinguwe ngendinemincili ndingcangcazela yimlikithi. You must be proud that you have got brave young men among you. You must be proud that South Africa is safe and you know it. Oh, how proud we should be. Ungunqindi liminqo lithi phakamani mlisela nomthinjana wasem-South Africa. Ungunqindi lithi 2024 is the year of the youth. Ngatsho ke ukhokho kubazi. We need young men like Baldwin. We need young men like Nicholas Nyathi. Ngoqiqa kuqondakale. Ngoqiqa kukheka kubukhopho. Ngatsho ke mandikala babhongo ndiyekela lumkakatho amaqaqathu lamakhalanga kuba ndingaqhoba qohlela nto nje ndinakhala loqhaqhala ukuqoqa ngale ngquba kaqaqa zandayibeka ngokomxholo wayo ndaham.
Amandla! Hey, two! Eastern Cape is land and is very beautiful. Not just our valleys and rivers, but our people and our cultures. We are very blessed. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, fellow South Africans, and most importantly, you, the beautiful people of East London. Diti, good day, Molwin. Today I stand before you with immense honor, not only to reflect on our past, but to also discuss the future that awaits us under a DA government. This day signifies not only the commemoration of our history, but the creation of a new history, a stepping stone towards a new South Africa. Today we launch ourselves like a slingshot to the moonshot. It is vital that we recognize the crucial role that young people play in society and the world. South Africa is rich in history in this regard. Recently, I took some time to reflect. I took some time to delve into the events that led into the 1976 uprising, seeking a better understanding of what drove that generation. It became evident that the uprising was intrinsically linked to the injustices perpetuated by the government of that day. The anger that ignited the 1976 generation stemmed from the adoption of apartheid policies in 1948, when the National Party came into power. Their fire was further fueled by the Sharpeville massacre of 1960, where 70 demonstrators lost their lives. In 1976, young people like me and you stood up and said, if not us, then who? If not now, then when? That was the burning question. But once again, we find ourselves in the same juncture. Over the past decade, we've lost numerous children. Children have lost their lives by drowning in pit toilets. From grade R pupil Michael Komape in Limpopo in 2014, to 5-year-old who fell into a pit toilet at Luna Primary School in Bizana in 2018. These incidents highlight the urgency for change. This is our 1976. This government has been responsible for the Marikana killings. It is equal to the Sharpeville massacre. Furthermore, it bears the burden of the deaths of 144 live-acid dementia patients. We are facing load shedding. Load shedding jeopardizes business. It increases unemployment. It puts the lives of our parents who are in hospital at risk because their oxygen can be cut any minute. I am here to tell you that just like the youth of 1976, we too can rise. We too can rise and make history.
Yes, yes.
We too can take back our power. We can take power away from this corrupt ANC government. We can take this power and give it back to the people where it belongs. We can fight against this unjust government, but we will not fight them with stones. We will not fight them with rocks. We will not fight them with petrol bombs. No, 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 no. We have something much more potent. We have something much more dangerous. We have our right to vote. Our uprising will be recorded in the ballot box. The youth of 2024 will repeat what the youth of 1976 did. But I don't want us to get excited because it starts with you and me. So as you are sitting here, after all of us are done, I want all of you to go and check your registration status. You can do this by going to check.da.org.za. It's very simple. It will take you less than 2 minutes. That is our revolution. Registering to vote is our moral obligation to the people of 1976. People died for that right. We have a moral obligation to register to save our country. This is a country duty. It is also a way to truly honor the generations before us. The ANC thrives on people who are unregistered. It thrives on a society that folds their hands and does not stand up and unite to fight for change. Our parents are always doubtful. Yo, in 1994, it never came. They're always doubtful. When they sit in those dark and dreadful nights due to load shedding, they ask themselves, is there a possibility that change will ever come? But this skepticism becomes our greatest downfall. So we have a responsibility as young people, to go back to our communities and tell them that if we register to vote for the DA, true change will come. We have a responsibility to go to our parents and say, Mama, do not doubt, because the DA is in it to win it. The DA is committed to winning. The DA is committed to implementing change. When people register to vote for the DA, they must understand that we will not stop anywhere short from victory. We are taking this one to the finish line. We are going to achieve this victory, not just in the Eastern Cape, but in the whole of South Africa. We will take John and put him into those union buildings. I am inspired. I'm very inspired. I'm inspired because I have seen a glimpse of the future. I'm inspired because I've seen a glimpse of what the country can look like under a DA government. I'm inspired because I have seen the other side. The grass is greener on the other side. People of Midvaal in Gauteng are enjoying that green grass. People of Cape Town in the Western Cape are enjoying that green grass. People of Modimolle in Limpopo are enjoying that green grass. People of Kauga municipality here in the Eastern Cape are enjoying that green grass. And soon, very soon, the people of Eastern Cape, the people of South Africa will experience that green grass. I am glad that John is here. I am glad that John is here. I am glad that John is here because I want the future president of South Africa, the incoming president of this beautiful country, to understand what we mean and what we want to see in government as young people. So John, our message as young people is very simple. We, the youth, know that our country is at a critical juncture. We know that the choices we make now will determine our future and the futures of our children. We know that the DA is the only party that will empower us, that will create opportunities, and that will build a society that is inclusive, fair, and prosperous for all. That is our message to you. We will do everything in our power to deliver South Africans to the moon. As the DA government incoming, we commit to transparency and accountability and ensuring that public funds are spent where they are needed. We will also work to strengthen the justice system to ensure that those who break the law are held accountable. Lamasela. We know that the only way to realize this is by voting out the corrupt ANC and by voting for the DA in the next election. And the only way to do this is by registering to vote. Today, let us please take that important step. Check.da.org.za. Check.da.org.za. The future rests in the hands of the youth, for we hold the power for a better tomorrow. As we stand on the cusp of a new era, the new election next year, or the upcoming election next year, presents a vital opportunity for the youth to step forward and save this country. Your voice, your vote holds immense potential to bring about change. Every ballot cast must be a declaration of hope, an affirmation to the dreams and ideals that we have. And it must inspire and be an aspiration of the younger generation. a ballot must show that young people do matter. We will embrace this responsibility and let our voices resound and ignite a flame of positive change. Together as a united force, a unified force, we can build a nation that values inclusivity, that embraces diversity, and paves a brighter future for all of us. The time is now. Let us seize this opportunity. Let us write to those crooks a breakup letter and say South Africans do not love you. The time is now. Let us seize the opportunity. Let us go and inspire others, and let your voice be the beacon of hope that leads South Africa into a better future, that leads South Africa into a better future. Let your voice matter. Let your vote matter. Let your vote matter. I want us to understand that the time is now. The time is now. The time is now. Kancane, sekusele kancane, kancane, sizophumelela.
To take a comfort break. So to boost us, because we have the final heavyweight, the ultimate heavyweight that's coming to address us later. But before we do so, we need to get warmed up, rev ourselves up and align ourselves accordingly for him. So registration right, but yes, it's fine.
Viva DA, viva! Viva DA, viva! I can't see you people. Viva DA, viva! Niyayikhumbula la ngoba asabe no Siola lepeti. Stand up, must be answer. Asabe no
great. So we're going to have one more song for John. Ubane, uzawusithi vuka vuka. Quickly. After that, we're going to have an address. So Banele, the stage is yours.
I say me yo. Look down to them God. I say me yo. I say me yo. Viva DA, viva! Viva! Pambili DA, Pambili! Forward to 2024, forward! Pansy ANC, pansy! Forward to youth opportunity, forward! Molweni nonke. Good day. Hoe gaan het? Lekker om julle allemaal hier te sien. Ons kan sien die Oos-Kaap is duidelik, né? As we gather here today, fellow Democrats, to honor and reflect of the contribution made by a generation of young people to our democracy and to our country. We also take this time this morning to honor our own who have passed in the service of our party, but also of their country. And today, sadly, we bury the former mayor of Modimolle Mokgopong, Marlene van Staden, who was one of our youngest mayors in the country. And we thank Marlene and her family for her service, and we thank Marlene for what she did in lighting the way in Limpopo for the first DA-led government in that province. Marlene's legacy will live on through the work that all of us will do as we carry that flame forward. I want to thank Nicholas Inyati for that inspiring speech. Wasn't that a great speech? But I'd expect nothing less from a fellow chiller, as Nicholas is a fellow chiller of mine. We've both been on the MacG podcast, and I think we both are firm chillers. So to all the chillers out there, I say Happy Youth Day to you too. And on this day, we've got used to hearing the speeches of ANC leaders who claim the sacrifices of the generation of 1976 as their own. They claim the bravery of people like Hector Peterson and Hastings Ndlovu as their own. They appropriate the legacy of these young South Africans as their own. But Democrats, the truth is simply this, that the ANC have betrayed the generation of 1976, just like they've betrayed the generation of 2023. Back in 1976, young South Africans took to the streets to make their voice heard against injustice, because the apartheid government was suffocating their dreams and crushing their opportunities. They were subjected to an education system that would condemn them to forever being hewers of wood and carriers of water. They lived under an oppressive state that viewed them not as individuals with their own unique capabilities, talents, and abilities, but reduced them to nothing more than the color of their skin. They were subject to job reservation. They were subject to a system that restricted them to certain jobs only and trapped them in so-called group areas. It was resistance against these policies that caused the generation of 1976 to rise up, draw a line in the sand, and say no more. Democrats, the time has come for us to ask how different the injuries the young people of 1976 are similar to the injuries and injustices that the generation of 2023 faces. And I want to say it loud and clear today, that through the disgraceful education system, the ANC of 2023 is condemning the majority of young people in this country to a life of poverty, just like the government of 1976 did. In today's South Africa, 81% of 10-year-old children cannot read for meaning, and 33 million of our people live in poverty. A full 47 years after Hector Peterson died in the arms of Mbuyisa Nkuba, after rising up against an education system that doomed them to a life of poverty, the ANC has again condemned young people in South Africa to hewers of wood and drawers of water. In today's South Africa, 7 out of 10 young people are unemployed. And I'm sure we have many of them sitting in the audience here today. Am I right? Yes. Young people who only want the opportunity to work, but are denied the opportunity to get a job. Over a third, as Yusuf said, of our young people with university degrees, and genuine university degrees, not ones bought from Fort Hare, cannot find work. And that's because this government of 2023 still practices a form of job reservation. Except they don't call it job reservation, they call it cadre deployment. And that means that unless you're connected to some network, unless you are friends with the councillor, or friends with an MP, or friends with an official, and yes, only if you're prepared to sleep with those people, will you get an opportunity to be able to get a job. The ANC calls this cadre deployment. We must call it out for what it is. Job reservation for buddies, for pals, and for cadres. It prevents anybody who's not connected into the system or elite to say you're on the outside. No opportunity for you. Your family must starve while the cadres eat our money, eat our opportunity, and eat our children's future. And that is the reason why young people, many skilled young people, cannot find work in the public service, because those jobs are reserved for cadres. They're reserved for the connected few. And the reason that service delivery collapses, and Nick spoke about beautiful Coffee Bay, but even up the road, I was in Makanda the other day. I've never seen more potholes in town as I've seen in Makanda. There's a pub there called the Pothole and Donkey. The problem is these days you see many, many potholes, but you don't see many donkeys. They say overseas you drive on the left. In Makanda you drive on what's left. And you've got to watch out that your car doesn't go into it. But colleagues, I want to talk to you today about another form of job reservation that the ANC has reintroduced. Much like the legend of the Greek Perseus, who slayed the Gorgon monster, who was terrorizing the villagers. And they were so pleased that he had liberated them from the evil clutches of this terrible monster that they made him the king. But in a few short years, he became a worse tyrant than the monster. And this is exactly what this government is doing. It's taking the exact things that the apartheid government did to people like Hector Peterson and the contemporaries of his age, and it's reintroducing them in South Africa. And it is reducing us again to being defined on nothing more than the color of our skin. It doesn't see us as individuals. It doesn't see our talents and abilities. It doesn't see the contribution that each one of us wants to make our country a wonderful place. It sees only the color of the skin on the outside. Not what's in the heart, not what's in the soul, not the fire in the belly or the brain in the head. Just the skin color on the outside. And just last month, they published a list of racial quotas that determine which race groups can work in which sectors and where they can work in which parts of the country. They apply to 18 key areas of our economy, and companies that do not comply with these quotas are going to be severely punished by not getting government contracts, not being able to apply for government work, and through fines. And they will be cut off completely from doing their business. And there are some who say, well, these quotas only affect minorities. And the message I want to send to the young people today is that quotas affect everybody. Quotas affect everybody. So for instance, right here in the Eastern Cape, if you are a young black woman employed in top management at a manufacturing company here in the Eastern Cape, and if more than 13% of your colleagues are also black females, you will have to be fired, or that company will be punished for exceeding the quota of black females they're allowed to employ. A 100% black-owned female company opening its business doors in Kimberley would be prevented from government work because the quota there for black females is only 15%. In a profession like nursing, here in the Eastern Cape, where more than 35% of the professional nurses are black females, this will be violating the quotas that have been published by government. And in Limpopo and the Northwest, the employment of coloured South Africans is banned completely in certain sectors, while in others, Indian South Africans are reduced to just 0.1%. Just think about that for a second. Imagine being reduced in the country of your birth to a decimal point. This is not the future that people fought and died for. This is not the non-racialism that should be driving the energy of this country. This race quota law is abhorrent, it is disgraceful, and it is utterly dehumanizing to the very people of this country. And in a country with already the highest youth unemployment rate, it's going to lead to even more youth unemployment. Because the law only applies to companies that employ more than 50 people. So what do you think a company that doesn't want to have to racially bean count and do tests on who is coloured, who is white, who is black, and who is Indian? They're not going to hire people at the 51, 52, 53. And companies that should be expanding to create more opportunities for young people and our citizens are simply going to say, we're not taking on any more people because we don't want to be part of this terrible system of quotas. Everyone loses under the system. So instead of empowering the 33 million people who are trapped in poverty, this policy is going to condemn them to even greater poverty, even greater suffering. They are deliberately designed to lock you out of opportunity. Because the more they lock you out of opportunity, the more opportunity they have to open the back door to let their cadres, their friends, the girlfriends, the family members in through the back door. And once again, they will get fat and healthy and well, while 33 million of our people struggle to put food on the table. Do you know that the cost of living means, and I'm sure there's many people in this audience who probably feel and experience this every single day, 82% of South African families can no longer put 3 meals on the table a day. How do you justify the extravagant trips overseas with 126 people entourages? How do you justify the blue light brigades while children are starving to death in the villages and towns of the Eastern Cape? How do you sit in a ministerial mansion paid for by the people of South Africa while newborn babies in the Eastern Cape are placed into cardboard boxes in hospitals? Sis! How do you sleep at night, ANC? Hoe slaap jy in die aand? Dis tyd om hierdie rampokkers uit te skop en vir 'n nuwe regering in te kom, so ons kan verandering in ons land sien. En ek sê vir die mense, die jeug rondom Suid-Afrika, dis nou tyd om op te staan. Want jy kan nie sit by die huis op die sitbank. En ek weet, julle sitbanks het nie dollars daar aan onder nie, soos Mr. Ramaphosa se sitbank. Jy kan nie by die huis sit op jou sitbank sonder werk, sonder geleenthede, sonder 'n kans eers om werk te kry. En sê, dis nie my probleem. It's everybody's problem, and everybody needs to stand up, and everybody needs to make their voice heard. And we need to send a message out. We will not let this government divide us again by race, because that's all the ANC have got. They've got nothing to show people in next year's election. Nothing. The economy is contracting. Jobs are leaving our shores by the day. Young people are going elsewhere to look for opportunity. Crime is up. Every single thing the ANC touches turns to, I can't say the word because it's TV here, turns to rubbish. Everything they touch turns to rubbish. There's not a single thing the ANC haven't touched in this province and in this country that they haven't broken or stolen. And that's the reality. When you go now to the cupboard, it is bare because the cadres have stolen, eaten, finished everything. Dis klaar, want hy het dit al opgevreet en niks vir ons mense agtergelaat nie. But it doesn't have to be like that. And this is the message I want to send to the youth across South Africa today. It doesn't have to be like this. Because it can be different. You can have a government that's working for you, not the other way around. You can have a government that's investing in schools so that its children can read and write and be prepared for the economy to ensure that they can find work. That you can have police deployed onto the streets to keep you safe. In the Western Cape, crime is down 14%. That you can have a government that's serious about young people getting work. In the DA-run Western Cape in the last quarter, 98% of all new jobs in South Africa were built in the Western Cape. Just 2%. Net 2% in die ander provinsies. Dis 'n skande. Dit is 'n skande. And we are going to fight this cadre deployment with everything we have. We're going to stop this closed shop system that the ANC has used to cut you out so that they could get the cadres in. And that's why this week we had a great court victory, because the court said now that they must hand over those cadre deployment minutes. And they've been hiding them. They didn't want to give them. And you know why they didn't want to give them? Because they know that it's going to show you how they've been locking you out and eating up everybody's opportunity. And most importantly, it's going to show you what happened when Cyril Ramaphosa was the chairperson of the Cadre Deployment Committee. Because he comes in now and he's like, whoa, whatever, boy, I wouldn't know what happened. 9 wasted years, you know, terrible, this one's corrupt, that one's corrupt. He was sitting right there. He was sitting right next to Jacob Zuma as the deputy president in the cabinet. He was sitting as the chairman of the Cadre Deployment Committee, sending the Molefes, the Kokos, the Guptas, and everybody else he could get an opportunity to send so that they could not serve the people, but to serve the ANC. And those minutes are going to show us, they're going to show us the skeleton that is now sitting in the union buildings. And so, I invite each and every young person to join the DA over the next 15 months in the streets, in the town halls, in our communities, in every kasi, in every city hall, in every business around the country to drive the message of change. And you will see that hashtag there. I want everyone to look at it. It says hashtag power to the registered. Now that's not an exclusionary thing. It's simply saying this, that change doesn't happen on its own. That change isn't going to fall from the sky, and change is not going to happen under the ANC by osmosis. The only way we're going to get change in South Africa is if we go out and vote for that change. And you cannot vote if you are not registered. So check your registration status. Check.da.org.za. Let's say it out again. Check.da.org.za. Go and check your registration status, because there's no use complaining if you're not voting. And if you're one of those 13 million young people who's sitting at home saying, I'm not interested in politics, let me tell you this, politics is very, very interested in you. Because if politics can reach into your home, reach into your business, reach into your workplace, reach into your hustle and switch off your lights, I promise you it's coming for your water, it's coming for your sewerage, it's coming for your job, and it's coming for everything else. So don't say you're not interested. It's time to get interested. Your country needs you. If you're not registered, you're not part of the solution. So we call on you, young people. Your time is now. Your 1976 moment is now. And you're never going to get another chance like this. Because if these guys get away with one more election, with one more majority, there's going to be nothing left in 2029. So don't think I'm waiting for a better tomorrow. Act now. If you don't act now, there will not be another chance. So let's get out there, check.da.org.za, and let's give power to the registered. It's time to stand up, South Africa. Let's get this government out. Let's get a new government in that's going to work for you.
Only the registered have the power. If you're tired of load shedding, register to vote. If you're tired of corruption, register to vote. If you're tired of the rising cost of living, register to vote. And if you're tired of a government that's continuously working against you, register to vote. Go to check.da.org.za and let's give power to the registered.
Democratic Alliance, hoy, hoy. That was an absolutely amazing program. Very exciting. I have goosebumps just thinking about what it is. Here with me, I have the federal leader of the Democratic Alliance, John Steenhuisen. John, how was your experience of that program?
Yeah, it was great. What a great Youth Day program. And you know this thing I love about the DA? We've got young people in our party. Have a look in Parliament behind us. There's young people leading. The youngest chief whip we've ever had in the history of the opposition. Young members of the shadow cabinet. When you look across the aisle and you look at the ANC, it looks like a retirement village. Look at our Congress, led by young people, and look at today, such incredible energy and young people determined to reshape the future. Not prepared to sit and be shaped by events, but to get out and shape those events. And it's so energized.
100% I agree with you. So young people want to know, we've heard you speak about what it is that we need to do and what we look forward to, but what are our DA chances for taking over government next year?
They've never been better. For the first time since 1994, we have a credible path to victory. The non-ANC EFF opposition got 35% of the vote. That's just 15% off. If we can get the 14 million people who are registered and didn't vote to come out and vote, and if we can get the 13 million young people between the ages of 18 and 35 who are not registered at all to go to check.da.org.za and register to vote, we can make that difference go away and we can build a new majority in South Africa. That's what we're excited about.
100%. We're very excited. There you had it from the leader of the Democratic Alliance, John Steenhuisen. We had an absolutely amazing program here today. So remember, again, continue to share the link, continue to subscribe, hit the like button, give those comments for future engagements. The hashtag is the hashtag power to the registered. That is hashtag power to the registered. We're signing off. We say thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Youth Day. Adios.
In this election, only the registered have the power. If you're tired of load shedding, register to vote. If you're tired of corruption, register to vote. If you're tired of the rising cost of living, register to vote. And if you're tired of a government that's continuously working against you, register to vote. Go to check.da.org.za and let's give power to the registered.
Thanks for watching. Like and follow our page on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that notification bell. Tell us what you think in the comment section. And please, like and share our videos with your friends and family. Join the DA. Join the fight to save South Africa.